My girlfriend publicly shamed me everywhere for being too cheap and called me a pathetic boyfriend, so I dumped her publicly. My girlfriend Tiffany shames me everywhere when I don't buy the things she likes, announcing to strangers that I'm too cheap to treat her properly and she deserves better than a boyfriend who won't spoil her. At the mall, she'll loudly tell salespeople that I'm the reason she can't have nice things because I refuse to buy her the designer bag she points out, even though I make decent money as an electrician. She'll stand in the middle of stores crying that all her friends' boyfriends buy them jewelry weekly while I act like spending money on her is painful. She actually tells random women in restaurants that they're lucky their men value them enough to pay for expensive meals while she has to suffer with someone who suggests splitting the check. When I bought her roses from the grocery store for Valentine's Day, instead of the $100 bouquet from the fancy florist, she left them on the restaurant table and told our waiter I didn't think she was worth real flowers. She took pictures of the abandoned roses and sent them to her group chat, saying this was what dating a cheapskate looked like. She'll compare me to her friends' boyfriends in front of everyone, listing the expensive gifts they receive while pointing out that I gave her a handmade birthday card instead of jewelry. She actually keeps a spreadsheet on her phone of everything her friends' boyfriends buy them and shows it to me weekly to demonstrate how far behind I am in the boyfriend rankings. At her sister's engagement party, Tiffany announced that she'd never have a nice ring like that because I believed love shouldn't cost money. She told her entire family I was the reason she couldn't keep up with her social circle, and they all looked at me with pity and disappointment. She said real men understood that providing meant buying whatever their girlfriend wanted without questions or budgets. When I tried explaining I was saving for our future apartment, she said I was making excuses for being stingy, and future plans didn't matter if she was unhappy in the present. That's when I decided Tiffany needed to experience what public shaming about money really felt like. I started by loudly discussing her spending habits everywhere we went. At dinner with friends, I'd mention how Tiffany spent $300 on face cream while complaining we couldn't afford vacations. I'd tell waiters she insisted on the most expensive wine while contributing nothing to our bills. At the mall, I'd inform salespeople that Tiffany expected gifts but hadn't bought me anything in 2 years, not even a birthday card. When she dragged me shopping, I'd tell other customers in line that she'd maxed out 3 credit cards on clothes she wore once while expecting me to cover all our living expenses. Next, I started comparing Tiffany to my friends' girlfriends in front of everyone. I'd list how Jake's girlfriend cooked him dinner nightly while Tiffany ordered takeout on my card. I'd mention how Tom's girlfriend surprised him with thoughtful homemade gifts while Tiffany only cared about price tags. I'd point out how Bill's girlfriend worked 2 jobs to contribute equally while Tiffany quit her part-time job because working was too stressful. I created my own spreadsheet showing how much my friends' girlfriends contributed to relationships versus taking and showed it to anyone who'd look. At her friend's birthday, I announced that Tiffany couldn't afford a real gift because she'd spent all her money on herself again. I told everyone about the $400 shoes she'd bought herself the day before while giving her friend a card she'd stolen from my desk drawer. I explained to the whole party that Tiffany believed relationships meant men paying for everything while women just existed beautifully. Her friends started noticing the pattern of Tiffany demanding expensive gifts while never reciprocating. The real satisfaction came when I started refusing to pay for anything in the most public way possible. When restaurant bills came, I'd loudly announce I was only paying for my food because Tiffany had shamed me for not buying her a designer purse that morning. I'd tell the confused waiter the whole story while Tiffany sat there mortified. At movie theaters, I'd buy 1 ticket and tell the cashier my girlfriend thought I was too cheap anyway, so she could buy her own. When she couldn't pay, I'd explain to everyone in line that she'd spent all her money on makeup while expecting me to cover entertainment. During a double date, when the bill arrived, I announced that since Tiffany had told everyone at lunch that I was a pathetic provider, she could provide for herself tonight. I paid for my meal and our friends' meals, but left Tiffany's portion unpaid. Full story on channel, link below.